Hi, it's July 5th, and that makes it the 26th day, yep, the 26th day of the Dark Shadows experiment. We are firmly in 1897. The show is really where it needs to be. Quentin is a zombie and then comes back, and everyone's very nonchalant about it. The thing that's so great is that, for one thing, in this section of the show, as I've said before, but I'll say again, Barnabas is the hero. You know, when I was a kid and I knew about Quentin, I would ask people who had seen the Quentin stuff. I said, well, is he a good guy or is he a bad guy? And did he and Barnabas team up and, you know, fight crime or whatever? And they would say, well, sort of, and that's the best answer. Quentin, as I've mentioned before, or maybe I haven't, is the anti-Barnabas. He comes in and he is a character of total action. If anything, he acts before he thinks. He is one of the most active, propulsive characters in the show. And a Shakespearean analogy came to mind, or a Shakespeare analogy came to mind, where he is very much a Henry V character. Or, moreover, yeah, he's a Henry V character. He's a very misguided Henry V character. But he is all guts. He is ready to go in. He is charismatic. Barnabas is Hamlet. Barnabas spends all of his time thinking and rethinking and playing games and trying to master the chessboard and considering things from every angle. Whereas Quentin is a creature driven by rage, he is a creature driven by vice, he's a creature driven by impulse. And a lot of the 1897 story is about it's about him paying for those things and about him learning to temper those things. Whereas Barnabas, at this point, has learned to act on his instincts and to use his cerebral abilities for analytical purposes and not be hampered by them. The thing that's great about 1897 is that in all of the other storylines that have happened so far, the writers have really been trapped by what they had established as being Dark Shadows from the very beginning. They're stuck with Elizabeth Collins Stoddard for the longest time. They were stuck with Vicky Winters. They were stuck with Roger. They were stuck with David. And all of this sounds as if I'm critical of those characters. And I'm not. However, that was a very pedestrian world that was sort of dragged into the realm of the supernatural. Even the 1795 storyline is backing up elements of that story. The 1897 storyline, by the time they go there, the writers have a completely blank slate. For one thing, they have permission to make Dark Shadows supernatural. And so they just go nuts. They drag in Angelique, they drag in Evan Hanley as an occult madman, drag in gypsies, Quentin's a zombie, then he's not a zombie, crazy women in the tower. And the other thing that's interesting is it really made me wonder, why is the Victorian era so perfect for horror? And I think it's because we have just enough science in that period of human development to know better, but we have just enough ignorance and superstition and proximity to ignorance and superstition to still be afraid of the dark. And what a wonderful melding that is. When I saw this section of the show, I had been a faithful viewer because I enjoyed parts of it just enough, and I had this sense it was going to pay off. And by the time we went to this time period, I was 16. I had rounded that corner into basically young adulthood. I had a girlfriend, and it was very easy to suddenly identify with Quentin. You know, when you're a younger man, you identify a little bit more with Barnabas. You know, Barnabas isn't quite sure what sort of person he's going to be. He's not quite sure what people will think of him. And, you know, I think that fits an adolescent very well. You know, you're in this transitional state. By the time I was 16, I'd rounded that corner. I was pretty certain what sort of person I was going to be. And I was pretty headstrong about it. And so Quentin, who I'd always suspected was going to be an interesting character, was absolutely magnetic. And I think I identified with Quentin a good deal. I certainly saw Quentin as the sort of person I wanted to be. Even, well, let's put it this way, Quentin at his best, not Quentin's bad qualities. It's this great moment in the movie Nixon, and it may be based on truth, I'm not certain, where Nixon's standing before a portrait of JFK, and he says, you know, when he's speaking rhetorically, I think, and he says to the portrait of JFK, he says, you know, when people see you, they see who they want to be. And when people see me, they see who they are. And for me, when I would see Barnabas, especially Barnabas before he turns on Nicholas and Adam, which is really when he becomes a hero through and through. I think, personally, I saw at that time in my life who I was. And when I would look at Quentin, I would see who I wanted to be. Quentin's very much the Han Solo of this universe. And eventually he gets over his lesser qualities. And it's funny because by the time they fully make him a hero and they bring him into the present, they don't really know what to do with him. And I can understand that in a soap opera. Soap operas are supposed to take up a lot of time, as I have done today. This went on longer than I thought. I'm not sure I'm going to edit it that much, though, because I think there's a lot of good substance here. 1897. It's a good storyline. And it's a fun storyline. Personally, it's really reflective of that amazing summer of 1987, where one world ended for me and another world began. That's the summer really where I was adopted by a group of much older friends, and I was sort of made their mascot. I hate to say it because it sounds so corny, but it was the summer where I really started to be a man. And that was the same summer that the 1897 storyline was playing on the public television station that we had. And what perfect timing. So speaking of perfect timing, I'm going to end it here. Have a great day. I can't wait for more 1897 tomorrow. Bye.